Hello, if there's anyone there yet. Nobody yet. Okay, that's all right. If you can't make it live, you can watch the recording. And in the meantime, I'll talk to myself. Oh, being a new YouTuber. Hello, there's someone here. I'm so excited. Oh, I gotta mute this. Let me see how I do that. Oh, I feel like I'm coming up. Hold on. All right, can you hear me now? No? I can hear myself through my...
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Oh, there's a delay. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can hear myself through my iPad. Delayed. But that's okay. Yay. Hi, Susan. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you, Zach. This is my first ever tutorial and trying to do a something that's not just on my phone, and I was afraid of losing my audio or my video if someone called, so I put my phone on airplane mode, and I feel like that might have turned my mic off. So we're just gonna use my iPad. That's all right. Okay, so I'm really glad you guys are here. Thank you for being here. Today I'm gonna do some eco printing and eco dyeing, which means dyeing paper. No, what happened? Oh gosh, this is not working very well. Okay, it's like freezing, Zach. What am I gonna do? All right, hold on, guys. I think I'm gonna turn off my. Okay. All right. How's that? Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. No, this one should be muted, and this one should be unmuted. Can you hear me? Okay, I really hope you guys can hear me. And this keeps freezing up, and I don't know why. I think it might be because there's too many people on the internet right here. So I'm going to turn this one off. How's that? Oh, that's better. Okay, eco printing and eco dyeing. I've got an echo. I hope you guys cannot hear it. That's annoying. I wonder if I can turn that off. Oh, I can. Okay, that's better. Hope you can hear me. I am eco dyeing and eco printing paper today, and also I can see the chat. So we can talk. This could take a while. So we can talk about writing and books while you're doing that if you want. No. Oh my God. Zach, why does this keep happening? I'm not going to be able to do this in here. I don't know why this is happening. Okay. I keep losing my camera, and I don't know why, or if you guys are losing it, or if it's just my iPad. I think I'm going to have to turn off my iPad, you guys. Yep, that's what I'm going to have to do, because this is not working, having it on both. So I'm going to have to try to watch the chats on my, I'm gonna have to try to watch the chat on my phone. So I hope that you can hear me. Yeah, you can't see all of me, but here I am. Hello. Because I thought it was more important that you see down here. So I sent my daughter Ruby and her friends out to pick some flowers from our yard. So this is what they came up with. This is what we're going to use for the eco printing. I'm going to put them over there because we don't need that quite yet. And then this is some cranberries I boiled down. They had been in my freezer since Thanksgiving, raw, just plain a bag of cranberries. I boiled them for about an hour, and I came up with this. So I'm going to use this to dye some paper. And then we had tacos for dinner, and I had 3 avocado pits, and I boiled them, and I came up with this. So we're going to make avocado and cranberry dyed paper. And we're going to do eco printing, which is printing these flowers on leaves onto some paper. These are the papers I'm using today. I have some coffee filters. I use these to like soak up some of the extra when I'm doing the dyeing, and they turn out super pretty. So we have coffee filters. We have regular old 5x8 index cards. We have, this is copy paper, but it's 24 pounds, so it's a little tiny bit thicker than regular copy paper. This is sketch paper. This is thinner and a little bigger. I get these pads. I find them all the time at the thrift store for like $1 or less, and I just buy them every time I see them. So I have few pieces of that here. Looks like I have four sheets of that here. I have some more copy paper. I'll put that with the other. This is cardstock. I have a couple of library card, like that you would put in a book, library book cards that I just had laying around. I thought I would try those. And also some vintage book pages. I'm gonna try those. The other day, you guys, at the thrift store, I found this humongous like art portfolio thing. It was huge, like 3 feet by 4 feet, and inside it was full of the most gorgeous watercolor paper. They're huge sheets. So I got all 8 of these pieces from one sheet. So it was at least 3 by 4 piece of paper. What does it say on there? Well, it's stamped with something I can't read, but I'm going to try eco printing these. This is the most beautiful paper I've ever felt. It's like, I don't know, beautiful. I'm very excited about that. And this is multimedia paper and some file cards. So those are the things I'm going to be working with today. And what I'm going to do first, so over here, because to save some time, I got something set up. So this is a roasting pan that I bought at a thrift store for like $1 or maybe $2, something along those lines. It is very rusty because I rusted it on purpose. I left water in there overnight. I did whatever I could to try to get it to rust, because the rust is really good for the paper. It like outlines the flowers and I only could find one little rusty bit in my backyard. My husband came across this bolt. Can you see it? Ooh. It's like super thick with rust. So I put that in there, but I've also rusted the bottom of my pan. And I have a cookie, like a, what do you call it? Like where you would cool cookie, like a cookie cooling rack inside of there to hold the paper up off the bottom. I don't use it or any of this stuff for cooking, of course, because I put plants and stuff in there that may not be edible. So these are things that are just for my dyeing. Okay, so that's what's in there. It's coming to a boil. I'm going to turn the heat up. I have it on low. This is a pot. Can you see it? No, but there's a big like spaghetti pot here that I just put some water in, and I'm going to use it to weigh down my paper. What I have in here boiling is water from my tap, about 1/2 cup of salt, table salt. Oh, good. Okay, I have 1/2 cup of table salt, about 1 cup of vinegar, and about 1/4 cup of alum. The salt, the vinegar, and the alum are all mordants, which means that they're going to help the paper to take the dye, the pigment from the plants. So we're going to start with putting the stuff in the water to boil, because that takes about 45 minutes. So while that's boiling, we'll do some dyeing. First thing I'm going to do is cut 4 pieces of regular old kitchen string. Do that one that way. This is to tie up the paper after it's all loaded up with the flowers and the plants, the leaves. This is just regular cotton kitchen string. You can buy it super cheap, probably at the dollar store even. I've had this roll for probably 10 years. See, it's just regular cotton kitchen string, and I cut 4 pieces of that. I got these plastic sheets at a thrift store. I don't know exactly what they're for, something about framing, but they're just a piece of plastic. You can use anything. I just want to make a sandwich with my paper, and I want something to be kind of sturdy on the top of it. So I use these. You can also use, I've seen people use wood. I've seen people use like those cookie cooling racks. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's something you can sandwich the paper between. So these plastic things have been working for me. I always start with a file folder because it's a little sturdier. So I put a file folder on top and on the bottom every time. So I just open that up. Oh, and these are just cheapy cutting boards that I don't use for anything except this dyeing. So I start by layering that one there, and I get my flowers. And I just start loading this up. I don't know what this is. I don't even know what all these are, Ruby. This looks like some sort of a daffodil. This is oh, I have I don't even know what kind of plant it is. It gets beans on it though, so maybe some sort of a mesquite, but it's flowering with these purple flowers, so that's going to be really pretty. These little teeny blue flowers also always die really well, so I love when we have those. They're really delicate, but they die super, super pretty. I think it's going to be really fun to see how the paper changes as the seasons change, and especially since I live somewhere now where there's one. I lived most of my life in Nevada. This is Forsythia. I lived most of my life in Nevada where there's just fewer growing things. Or fewer bright things, not so many flowers and stuff. I think that's an azalea, but I'm not 100% on that. And I have no idea what that leaf is. I think that's like a fake cherry tree. My daughter found that like just walking down the street. She picked it up for me. So you're just going to put things on here and then layer the next piece, kind of give it a smush. One thing that I've done that worked out really well, and if I had some, I would. Oh, I do. Hold on. Let me see what I have. Might be able to use a couple of these. I've used blueberries and blackberries with really good results. I don't have any of those today, but I do have some strawberries. So I'm going to see how that works. Maybe we'll do a little bit of strawberry dyeing and see if we can get some strawberries on here. To dye on this gorgeous watercolor paper. Let's see, a little flower, another little tulip. Right, so just keep layering and putting things on until you like the way it looks, and then smush it with another paper. Until you have a stack. You want your stack needs to be able to, if you guys can still hear me. Zach, maybe you could check one more time and see if you can still hear me. It's making me nervous because I had trouble. So you're just going to keep adding flowers, and I have a lot of these little things, even some dandelions. There's a berry of some kind. Until you like the way it looks, and then, oh, my fridge is open. Sorry, guys. And then, oh, that's pretty. I don't know what that is, but it's gorgeous. So we'll put that there. And then you just layer it on top, which means that, like, so this paper is going to be printed on the top, on the underside by the stuff it's on top of, and then on the top side with whatever I put on top of it, and so on. There's another tulip. Oh gosh, these are going to be, I could feel it. These are going to be gorgeous. Gorgeous. I don't think I want that berry there. There we go. Zach, could you see if you can hear me? I'm sorry. Nobody's responding when I had trouble before, so now I'm a little worried that I'm like not really on. All right, Zach's gonna check just to make sure he can hear me, because oh, loud and clear. Margaret said she could hear me. I'm sorry, I can't. I tried to do the chat on my iPad and it didn't work very well. So I'm gonna put another file folder in the center. What do I have here? Oh, I don't know what that is, but how pretty is that? I don't know. This one looks like an onion to me, and I wondered if it was a leek. Does anyone know? Ruby found that like on a median. Just kind of growing wild. The stuff that grows in Pennsylvania is insane. Everything, basically. Basically every single thing grows in Pennsylvania because it's so freaking wet here, which is, you know, that's good. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. So just keep layering, squishing, layering and squishing. There's, see, that totally, doesn't that look like an onion? I really think that that's a leek of some kind. I think it's leek season here, so I'm not 100% on that, but I really think that might be a leek. This is getting hot and it's making me sweaty. Okay, a little bit of just a scattering there of these loose flowers. So pretty. I'm going to put another strawberry down. Okay. This is big, so I'm cutting it. I think I'm just going to do a bunch of this yellow on here this time. Maybe this in there with it. Yeah, that's pretty. Let's do some regular, no, I don't want to do regular copy paper there. Oh, I know, we haven't done any, let's do some of these here. I'm going to go with definitely leeks for those. Don't those look like leeks? Well, I wouldn't call this wild, Rissa. Most of it was in my, like in my yard, in my front yard. But I didn't plant it. It's just kind of, it was there when I got here, and I don't have to do anything to make it grow, which this desert girl finds super amazing. Super amazing. So, but if this is something that you enjoy, come move to Pennsylvania and be my neighbor, because I need a writing community here that doesn't live in my house. That would be awesome. We all do. All the writers that live in my house. Well, both of us. Okay. My water's boiling. That's good news. I don't know if that... Oh, I want to use all of this, but I might not be able. I need to make sure this is going to be under the water. Oh, see, look, that's totally an onion. This is a leek. I'm positive of it. I don't think I want that big onion in my thing, but I'm just telling you, this is a leek. I am convinced. And somebody's probably telling me in the chat, and I keep talking about it anyway. But I can't see the chat very well. I'll take a look at it in a minute. I think I want to do a couple of these, and then I'm going to do my last file. Ooh, where did they get these berry things? They're so hard. I don't know if they're going to stay in the paper very well. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's like a full-blown onion. Ruby found some wild leeks. It's like a hobby here to go hunting wild leeks, and she found like a patch of them somewhere. It's funny to me. Okay, I'm going to do one more of these, and then I'm going to do my last file folder, and that will be all of my flowers and pretty things here. Let's see, what else do I have? I want to make sure I get every one of these little blue flowers because they are so pigmented. They really make pretty marks on the paper. And my last file folder. I think I need a little more. My last file folder. Oops, I want to do it this way. I'm afraid I made this too big. We'll see, I guess. Let's see. It's forsythia. It has the prettiest flowers. They're like huge. They're so full of flowers that they look like they're burning. They're on fire. Gorgeous. They're all in my front yard. I have like 3 or 4 of them. What's the last little things? I'm just going to dump all of these last little scraps on here because why not, right? And get that out of the way. How about one more great big strawberry? 3 sections for that. Strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. We lost a leak down. Okay, so we squish it. Squish, squish, squish. Shove everything back in. Top it with my other plastic. And then I'm just going to see about tying this up. Oh no, that goes there. Okay, and I'm going to tie it down as tight as I can because I need it to fit in the water and I need it not to come apart. So I'm going to really see if I can get that tied down. Whoop. Okay, 1. I just do 4. Okay. There we go. Get my fingers out of the way. 2, 3. I may have to add a little more water, but that's okay because I have water in my big pot, and since it's been on the stove, it's actually going to be pretty warm. And I can add that water if I need to. Some of that water I can add. It doesn't need to be hot water in that. Oh, I lost a flower. Get back in there, flower. I can add more water to that pot because it's only a weight. It doesn't need to hold anything down. Okay. Okay, so there is my stack of papers. I've got 3 folders, several pieces of really nice thick watercolor paper, some multimedia paper, some cards. I did not put any copy paper in this time, but that's okay. So I'm going to try to do this without killing myself. Lower it down in the water. It's totally not going to be enough water. So I'm going to take this, which is hot, even though it's not on the heat, and pour a little bit more in there because it's not going to be enough water to cover that by a long shot. It's a really thick stack. All right, so hold on 1 second. I need to fill this up. With enough water to weight this down. There we go. I'm just going to make it sure it's balanced. Yeah, I think I need to just take that more water. So let me get a measuring cup. Sorry guys, hang on. I need to make sure I have enough water in here. All right. The paper has to be under the water. Not by a ton, but by some. Okay. That's enough. So that's gonna boil for 45 minutes. I'm gonna put my strawberries away, and then we're gonna dye. Alexa, set a timer for 45 minutes, please.
45 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so Alexa's gonna watch my timer for 45 minutes. That's gonna just bubble and boil away. And we will see. This is kind of exciting because you just never know. I left out a whole thing, you guys. No, I left these out. They fell out of my bowl to save them for next time or for another time. And I was in a rush and I lost some stuff. Okay, so anyway, this is what I use for my eco dyeing, which is different from printing. So this is just using the pigment that I took out of the cranberries and avocado to dye the paper. I like to use this to because can you see it's got like a grid. It's just an old roasting pan I got at a thrift store for $2. I just took the sticker off of it, so it was $2. And I like if I lay stuff on here, it picks up the pattern of the grid, so I like to do that. I also like to use these. So these are vinyl placemats that they will I don't know how to say it. They'll like leave an imprint of lace. Can you see them? They'll leave an imprint of lace on the paper. So I have 6 of them, so I can do that for some of the paper, not all of it, but some of it. And then I also use paper towels. I use them anyway, but if I put some down, I don't know if you can see, there's a pattern on there, and the paper will pick up that pattern as well. So I have been trying to learn avocado dyeing. Has not worked. I don't know why I have struggled with this so much, but what happens, I don't want to use my watercolor paper yet. What happens is it's supposed to be pink, and what it always turns out for me is like a gray. So this time I watched a video. It was Kate Mauer's video, and what she did was she let them soak longer. So what I'm going to do is put the papers in here and then just keep layering them in and pouring a little more and let them sit for a little while and see if I can actually get some pink rather than like this dove gray. Last time I got like a dovey kind of gray color, and I really don't know why. I just did. I'm not anticipating the same problem with the cranberries because they're so highly pigmented. But you just kind of get them wet, pour a little more, let them soak a little bit. This water is a little warm, so I just made this. We ate avocados for dinner tonight. I washed 3 avocado pits. I boiled them in, okay, I'm going to be brave and try a piece of watercolor paper. I boiled them in 4 cups of water for about an hour, and they turned out this, it's very nice pink, like dark pink, kind of bluish pink color. God, this avocado paper you got, or this watercolor. I got like, it was like 3 packs. The whole thing weighed, it was so heavy. And when I got home and looked, it just had these 3 packs of this beautiful watercolor paper. And it was $30. I almost didn't buy it because $30 at a thrift store for paper, like who would do that? But I Googled, I tore a page. You have to be careful with some of these thinner papers because they're delicate. But I Googled, and like 10 pieces of that size watercolor paper at the least is like $75. And there was probably 3 times as much of that in the pack. So I went ahead and bought it. And I think it was worth it because I see a lot of people do this avocado dyeing or whatever dyeing on watercolor paper, but it's so expensive that I would never probably do it. I'm going to turn it. Let's really let that soak in. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, that's pretty. So I'm going to put that down on there. Then I'm going to put this on top. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a spoon. Oh, no, I have... Yeah, I'm going to get a spoon and spoon some more on top to see if I do like a second layer. If it really gets that... if it really gets that lacy pattern in there. Oh, and I also have some pages from a vintage book I'm going to try dyeing, see if I can get them to pick up the dye. I really want that to dye. Oh, see, now it's pink. Last time I did this, I swear this paper just turned completely gray. I had put some vinegar, and some of these pages are dyes are very sensitive to they're very sensitive to acid or base level, and I think that might have been the problem. Is that turn that down a little bit. Is that I put the vinegar in, and it changed the acid level of the. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. Of the dye, and it didn't work very well. It like turned, well, it looked pretty. It just didn't. It was completely gray, like a dove light gray. Picked up the lace pattern super well though. Okay, so put that there. I'm not gonna have enough placemats to do everything. What I'll do is this actually, if it's gonna pick up the dye, it does it pretty quickly. And so, I mean, not the dye, the lace pattern. So what I can do is move these to where they're drying and then use this again for the cranberry. I'm going to put a little more on here. So I really want to make sure this nice paper gets the lacy pattern. Also layering them like this, like the cranberry juice or the avocado juice dye that's on that page will pick up, will seep down and dye the page underneath it. So those pages are not going to pick up much dye. I don't know why, but it might. The cranberries is going to be redder, more red than this. It's like a really pretty blushy pink though, and it's very pretty. So that's nice that it's working. Let's do some copy paper. I'm just going to put that directly on top of there. Yeah, I think what this needs is longer. Can you see this? See the difference in the color? I think that what this needs is longer in the longer time in the water to soak. I'm just going to pour all of that in there. So I'm going to put a bunch of pieces in here. Maybe a couple of these. And make sure they're all under there and then leave them for a few minutes. I want to make sure I get a file folder. The file folders I love. They're like my favorite. I don't even really have a good reason why. I just love having these great big pieces that are dyed and pretty. This is like so full that it's flowing over a little bit. I'm going to move this here because I'm a little bit afraid of getting me. So make sure that's getting that. Really getting it in there. What else am I going to use? Find a couple more of these. So they're just, I'm making sure they're very wet. They're completely saturated. And then I am leaving them in here for a minute. I think I'm going to do one more piece of this paper. And I'm going to flip this. And just keep it in here for another minute. Let me look at the chat if I can. Did I boil the avocado pits whole or do I chop them? I boiled them whole. You can also put the skins in. This time I didn't because I wondered if the skins were maybe what was causing the ink, like the dye to make my paper gray rather than pink. It's funny to me that avocado, which is so green, I associate it so much with green, dyes paper. It just totally dyes paper pink. It turns into a pink dye. I mean, there's no denying that. Let's see what we got going on here. I think this lower page here is pretty much as pink as it's going to get. It's pretty pink. That's good. What I'm going to turn my oven on because generally I don't like to dry these in the oven. But if I dry a few of them in the oven, you'll be able to see. Usually I like to let them air dry overnight. But if I dry some of them in the oven, you'll be able to see how they turn out. Yeah, that's nice. That one turned out good. I want to like really get these pressed down into this lace so that it picks that up. Let's see. And I don't have any more lace. I'm going to use paper towels to, oh, I know. No, I'm going to use, so I like to use coffee filters in between. It soaks up the dye and it dyes the coffee filters. Coffee filters are really fun to play with in your journals because they are designed to get wet and be tough, right? They look delicate, but they're not so much. So they're designed to be relatively tough, and that means that that you can dye them and then you can play with them in your journal, and they're not going to fall apart, right? Because they don't fall apart in your coffee machine with hot water going through them. They're not going to fall apart in your your dye bath either. In fact, the dye bath is probably far less traumatic for them than they are used to. I'm going to see if I have a view where these can get the lacy on the top and the bottom. Wish I had a little more, but I don't. Okay. So this, what I like to do with these is I just open them. See, this one didn't. It doesn't look to me like they got too much of the dye, but I like to just set these on my burner, although turn that middle one off so I don't catch it on fire. And because of the heat over here, it's going to dry that pretty quick. I'm going to keep a good eye on it because I got my other burners going, so I want to make sure I don't, catch my house on fire. That would be bad. Bad news. Okay, so that is, I'm going to try So I'm gonna leave that in for a minute. Let's try drying some of these and see what happens, huh? So I'm gonna put these, I have two things that I use. One is this grid thing. And when I'm only eco dyeing, so when I'm only using a food dye, I'll use my regular, I only have one like dedicated cookie sheet. Right now, these I don't ever put in the oven. I just like set them, they dry super fast, so I just set them aside and let them dry. But I will use my regular cookie sheets on if I'm only using it for food dye. All right, so all that's on here is avocado and water, so you know, that will be okay. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to stick these in the oven for a minute at 250. It's set at 250. Let's see how that takes that dye. Ooh, I can already see that this is going to be pretty, you guys. Okay. I really want this one to take a lot of dye. So there we go. I'm going to flip this over so we can see how the ones that we put on the bottom are doing. Let's see how the ones we put down first are doing. Oh, see, can you see that picked up the lace pattern? I don't know if you can see that or not, but it did. It picked up the lacy pattern of the lacy pattern of the lace. How's that for Englishing? Picked up the lace pattern. I think I'm going to leave it for another minute. Let me see if I can see what's happening in the chat. Where did I get the cranberries? I got them at the grocery store at Thanksgiving time, and they've been in my freezer since November. I bought an extra bag. I didn't do it on purpose. I just ended up with an extra bag, so I just stuck them in the freezer. And then yesterday I decided to take them out of the freezer and give them a boil and see what would happen. And I ended up with some very nice, rich dye that I'm very excited about trying out. Let's see how this is doing. Okay. Let me see. I want to do the cranberry dye. Okay, let's see what we can start here. So I've got this is the cranberries. Might help if I take the whole lid off. I'm just going to pour that right in there. That little bit of avocado that's still in there is not going to hurt anything. And I'm just going to take this one off. I'm going to start a pile over here of ones that need to dry. I just do kind of a stack. So like paper towel, paper, dyed paper, paper towel, dyed paper. Stick that back in there. One really cool thing that I'm going to do is if I want to do it, how's these doing? I'm going to take these off as well. Hold on one second. So if I put a cranberry dyed paper on top of the lace that has a avocado dyed paper on there, it's going to pick up both dye colors, right? Because the cranberry will go through and will make that lace pattern really well. So I'm going to give that a shot and see how that looks. Because I have a feeling that this cranberry is going to be much darker, more red. Yeah. Ooh, that's pretty. So let's start layering this in there. Oh, that's super pretty. Can you see that, you guys? Isn't that pretty? So it's gonna dye this like a really nice juicy red. Ooh, it's hot, 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 hot. So I'm gonna start layering papers in here. I want this, I have 2 pieces of watercolor paper left and I want them in this dye as long as possible because I want them to be really nice and, you know, juicy. Okay. There we go. Put a little more in there. I have 2 more file folders, so I'm going to use, dye them both with cranberry. Oh, I think cranberry is going to be one of my favorites. This is the first time I've used cranberry, and it's very, very pretty. Very, very rich and pigmented and gorgeous. Gorgeous. What else do I have here? I have some sketch paper. I have more sketch paper. Alexa, how much time is on my timer?
You have 23 minutes left on your 45-minute timer.
23 minutes left on our timer for the paper that's boiling over here. It's going to be just the right amount of time, I think, you guys. I'm going to put some cardstock in here. I really like doing this because being in the water, the boiled especially, when it's in the water, it changes the texture. So it's almost like feels, it has like a homemade paper feeling. Like it changes the texture of the water. I don't know if it's on a cellular level or what, but it gives it a different kind of texture and it's super like interesting and nice. It feels really good. My other file folder, one more water. Squish it out. What else am I going to use here? Maybe some really. I have a lot of cranberry dye. I might not use all of it. Check on the ones in the oven. Hang on one second. Oh yeah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, so those are done. It's pink. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. It's not very bright in my house right now, but it did. It worked. It's a very faint pink, but it's pink and very pretty. I don't think that right. Oh, see, there's the grid from the that one pan. Those I'm gonna have to iron. If I just let them sit and dry, I'm not going to have to iron them. I'm going to leave my oven on in case I decide to dry some maybe of these cranberries, but for the most part, I really like to just let them air dry. I've heard people say they hang them to dry outside. I'm afraid to hang mine because I'm really afraid that they will tear. They're very delicate. So I'm not 100% sure how they do that. I'm going to use some cardstock over here. Oh, this is so pretty. I really like the cranberry, you guys. I picked up that whole page. This one is sticking. That's very pretty. I have seen people put their dye in spray bottles and do the dyeing that way, squirt it on. The problem that I've had with that in the past is that when I've made berry dyes in particular, the dye, the berries, it's impossible to strain them well enough, and it gets stuck in it stops up the squirt bottle. So I've only ever used a spray bottle for coffee and tea dye. That is really pretty, you guys. Look at how lovely that is. So if I put this on here, it's going to transfer some of its color over to the avocado paper underneath it, and that's going to be like extra special one. I want to get, let's see. Ooh. Oh my gosh, what is happening here? These got like a funny, can you see that? That did the gray. So I wonder if the little bit of cranberry was used in there, avocado that was left in there, looks like it interacted with the avocado that was left in there. The cranberry that I added interacted with the cranberry that was the avocado that was left in there, and it turned gray like I told you my other dye did. So that's very interesting. Like an experiment. Feels like a science experiment. So I'm just going to keep turning these and let them soak real nice and a lot. Yeah. Okay, let's start using some paper towels to get out of the dye. Alexa, how much time's on my timer?
You have 18 minutes left on your 45-minute timer.
All right, 18 minutes. Ooh, that's pretty. Look how pretty that is. I feel like I'm gonna stick this one back in here because it didn't get very pigmented, but this one did. Super pretty. Flip this whole thing, I think. Okay. We'll just put some of these down. Let that soak up some of the excess, and then these get dyed and they get pretty. And it helps these to dry a little faster because it's soaking up some of that extra liquid. Oh man, this one's really pretty. It's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very mottled like. Oh, here we go. This one. I don't know if you can see that. It's really got the color. It's really picked up the lace. Can you see it? So pretty. I need a paper towel. Once it's picked up the pattern of the lace, it's going to stay there. It's dyed. It's not going to, like, because you took it off, it's not going, that is a bright pink too. It's not going to say not pick up the dye. I don't know how else to say that. It's definitely dyed. It's not going to, it is not going to lose the lacy pattern like once you take it off. If it's on there, it's on there as far as I've ever been able to tell. So take some of these off and move in some other pieces so they can get some pattern. If anybody out there has any, I have not been able to find any more. I bought these on Amazon. These vinyl table or placemats, and I've looked and looked at thrift stores for vinyl lacy tablecloths or placemats. So if anybody out there has one they'd like to donate to the cause or let me buy from them, shoot me a message. I would be happy to take them off your hands. Let's see. I kind of want to flip some of these around. I'm going to do this. Okay. Yep. Want to do that. Yeah, I didn't rinse out my pan. I should have, because some of these, whatever, there was some cranberry or avocado left, it turned that gray. So that must have been a reaction to the acid. How interesting. Very, very interesting. This definitely feels like some sort of an experiment. I think I'm going to take this one off. It's been in there a long time. Some of these are so, so pretty though. They're all so pretty. But some of them are kind of stunning. And you want to be careful. See, I've got these two layered on top of each other, and what's going to happen is it's going to leave a square on there if I'm not careful. So what else do I have in here? Kind of wanted to see if I could get that to dye more. I wonder if I should. I'm going to add some like directly on them. Under here, an empty spots. All over that. It's got some berry junk on it. So I'm gonna actually, you know what I'm gonna do, because this is a piece of that watercolor paper and it's getting this gray tinge that I didn't want it to have. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a little bit on the bottom here. I'm gonna put a little bit on the bottom here. We'll dye what's underneath. I'm gonna put this on top because it will dye it too. I'm gonna put this on top again. And I'm going to put more because I have it, so why not, right? So I'm going to just kind of use that all over. I'm getting down to the bottom of my jar here, so the sediment from being in the fridge for a couple days is really getting kind of oozy and gross, but that's okay. That's okay. Alexa, how much time's on my timer? You have
11 minutes left on your 45-minute timer.
11 minutes, you guys. We're going to want to probably speed this up a little bit. Let's see. Ooh. Stick with the berry stuff. Okay. For the record, when you have sediment that gets on your paper, what happens is when it dries, all you have to really do is it just brushes right off. It's completely dried and you can just brush it off. And just so you know, when this is done, I am going to shift my camera so I can bring you guys over to my sink so you can watch the reveal, which should be gorgeous. I can already see some printing that's been done, and that is very, very exciting. Okay. I'm going to flip this whole thing again. See what we have in here. So this takes a little time, but I think it's totally worth it. It's so much fun. And the results, it's like a mystery. You never know. You just never know what you're going to see when you finish. Like when all of these are dry, I don't know what they're going to be like. You know, I don't know why. Like, I mean, I do know why. I think it's the acidic, but like, the acid turned that pink paper like a grayish blue. Now I know, right? But I didn't quite know that was what caused it. I didn't know that cranberries, I guess it makes sense if they're acidic, but I didn't really know that until just now. Found that out today. For sure. Cranberries equal acidic. So now you know too. That's so pretty. So we're just going to make a little pile and let these sit here and kind of dry a little bit while I unveil my okay, I'm not going to lie because I wish that I had cleaned this out because I didn't. The pieces of this paper that I can see really took on, like, did not get mixed with the avocado, are so bright pink. And that's almost nothing. This is just the edges of a couple pieces. So I'm a little sad about that. A little sad that I didn't get that bright pink. So next time I do cranberries, definitely they are not going to go in a thing that has avocado dye already in it. I really didn't think it was going to hurt it, and it did. So, yeah, but I don't know if you can see like this very edge of this one. Can you see how bright pink that is? You might not be able to, but it's bright. Bright pink. One more thing in here. Let's see, I'm going to take that one out and put that one in. And maybe a little even more. I really want this, at least one piece of as bright of cranberry dyed watercolor paper as I can manage. Okay, that's it. I think oop, no, what happened? Okay. I gotta move this out of my own way and rinse it off. Hold on a second. because in a few minutes I'm going to take this paper out and put it on that tray. Alexa, how much time is on my timer?
You have 5 minutes left on your 45-minute timer.
5 minutes, you guys. Feels like Willy Wonka. The anticipation is delicious. I'm going to get rid of some of this paper and make myself some space because I'm going to need it. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to lay out my thingies here. So, I'm going to get my iPad out of the way so we don't eco-dye that, right? I wish you could see this paper. It just turned out very pretty. This almost looks like a gingham. Can you see that? So that avocado paper turned out pretty, and then I messed it all up, and now I've got a bunch of bluey gray color again, like the last batch I did. So no more acid with avocado. Now you know. Acid and avocado do not mix. They don't play nice with each other. So I'm going to set that up. I'm going to put some paper toweling down to put my pages on as they come off as I rinse them. Oh, I'm so sad I didn't put that pretty flower in my paper. I think I'm just going to put it in a little vase so that it doesn't die on me. Oh. Okay, got my paper towel down. I'm gonna remove, where's my, this heavy pot of water off of here. I can see the strawberries worked, you guys. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so here goes me trying not to kill myself or ruin my paper because it's gonna, it's harder. It tears right through the side. Okay, done. Some of these did tear a little because the string always does, and I haven't figured out a way to not do that yet. What I'm going to do is move my camera, so you're going to have a little jostling. But I want you to be able to see this. Let's see. How's that? That's good. Okay, so over here on this little side, I have some cool water. I'm going to turn off my stove. That would be a good idea. I'm just going to cut this. Oh, this stinks. I don't know what it is, but whenever I do this, everything smells like overcooked asparagus. Every time, doesn't matter what I put in here. Overcooked asparagus. I'm going to turn this on a really low, just so I don't burn myself. And we're going to see what we did. Ooh. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. Just a little, like a rain would be better. Let's go the other way. Huh? Oh, that's so pretty. Look at that, the strawberry. Can you see that? You gotta be real gentle with these. I'm just gonna rinse it off a little bit. But this strawberry totally left a perfect imprint. So that's pretty cool. You just take off all of the flour junk and as gently as you can. You know, it's interesting. So you can see like all of the pigment. Alexa, stop. All of the pigment cooked right out of that strawberry. There's almost no red left in it. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Oh my God, she won't stop. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. There you go. She couldn't hear me. Really, Alexa?
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
Just turn off, honey. Okay, next piece. This is a piece of sketch paper. This is the most delicate because it's very relatively thin to start with. But it turned out really pretty, I think. When we get down to the ones that are on the bottom, you'll see that the rust made the outlines, the flowers and the leaves. And that does more on the bottom because most of my rust is on the bottom. So that's where it shows. Oh gosh, look at that one. Wow. So pretty. Oh no, I ripped it. But look at that one. Isn't that pretty? Can you see? So pretty. I'll show you all of them when we're done drying these a little bit or getting them off. Watercolor paper takes the dyeing really well, which totally makes sense because it's designed to be wet, right? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at it. So pretty. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Terry. I wish that I could see the comments better. It sucks that I can't, but I'm glad you guys are here. And if you make Eco Dye paper, you better share it with me so I can see what you did. So there's an index card. Turned out nice. I'm gonna need more paper towels in a minute. Oh, these strawberries. That was a good idea. They turned out very pretty. Okay. I don't know. I can't remember what half of this stuff was. It's spring, so it's interesting. I mean, it makes sense that most of what's come out here, even though they were flowers, they're pretty delicate. They're not real heavily pigmented. They're like springy flowers. And so most of what has come out is green. But that's okay. I like green. Ooh, this one. I almost didn't put those berries in there. And look at how glad I'm about to. Oh no, never mind. That was. I thought that was from the berry. So there's another index card. Very, very pretty. Okay, let's see. Ah, look at how pretty that one is. I can't wait to see what happens with like the leaves here in the fall because they are spectacular and they are full of pigments, let me tell you. Oh, I bet you Jessica Rose is in Hawaii, and I bet you she could get some really pretty flowers to do this with. Ooh, Look at that. The strawberries made like a perfect strawberry with those seeds and everything. I can just dunk that one. Look at that. Can you see the strawberry there? Look how pretty that is. So pretty. I need to get some more paper towels. Oh, hold on, guys. That's got to be a leek, right? It looks just like a cooked onion. Didn't do much on my paper, but I'm pretty sure it's a leek. Oh, this one turned out nice. Very pretty. Oop, oop. So this one turned out lovely. Can you see that? Very, very flowery and springy. Oh no, try straight. Flat, flat. Okay. Look at that one. So pretty. See, now we're getting down to where the iron, the rusty iron that was in there is making the dye take better because it's a mordant. So it's making it and it's outlining it. So you can see where the iron is starting to outline the stuff that I put on there. This is those little tiny blue flowers and they leave like this perfect little bright blue mark. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I love this one. I love them all, but this one is really awesome. Look at that. It has like the perfect outline of both a tulip and a strawberry. I think I'm going to take my camera off the tripod and just hold it so I can show you the results real well when I'm done here. Okay, the strawberries, definitely if you do this and you have some strawberries, use them. They turn out so nice. Look at that. It made like a perfect print of strawberries on my paper. I'm going to rinse that one better. That one turned out really pretty. This is my last thing here. One more file folder. I didn't put as much in this one, so it just didn't get too much, but just enough. It got a lot of yellow. So there's the front. The back was on against the plastic, so it didn't get much of anything. And then there's the inside of that last one. Not too much on that one. Okay, that is it. I have a nice big mess my husband will love me for. Hold on just 1 second. I think I'm going to bring you over here and show you what we ended up with. Let me see if I can figure out a way to do this. Let me see if I do that and I go around on the other side if you can see well. You can. So here's what we ended up with. There's some index cards. Aren't they beautiful? So we have four index cards, at least two. Might have only done, no, we did four. So there's another one. Isn't that pretty? 4 index cards. I don't know where the other one is, but I wouldn't have just done one. So it's here somewhere. Here's the here's some this is watercolor paper. This really took the dye well, and it really held up nicely in the boil too. So that's really nice. This is super thick, nice, high quality watercolor paper that I wouldn't own if I didn't find it at a thrift store, because it's very expensive. But I bet you that regular watercolor paper would do just as well. Yeah, but that is pretty. What do I have here? This is multimedia paper. So pretty. Multimedia paper. I have, oh, there's my other index card. So index card, I have 4 of those. I have 3 of these file folders. So there's one. There's the other side of that. I think, you know, I wasn't sure. I thought, oh man, we didn't put enough in there, but I kind of like how simple it is. Here's another one. Get some of that water out there. Here's another one. That still has some leaves on it. So there's another one. There's a strawberry on that one. Those strawberries are my favorite thing about this particular boil. And here's my last file folder. Turned out really pretty. This one had lots of strawberries on it. So the strawberries printed on both sides of the file folder because they were inside. So I got a bunch of strawberry prints on there. There's some more watercolor paper. These will, you know, maybe I will stick one in the oven here so that you can see it dry, because they do lighten up a little bit when they dry. They don't lighten up, but they like brighten up a little bit when they dry. They also wrinkle, which is why I don't like to do that. I like them to dry flat better. So I'll lay them out overnight and let them dry flat. So there's that. And I have some, oh, there's another one of watercolor paper. Very, very pretty. I love the strawberries. So watercolor paper. There's some more multimedia paper. That feels like 2 pieces. That is 2 pieces. I think they were stuck together to start with. So I got 2 for the price of 1, you guys. There's that, and there's that. Ooh, this one is super covered in dye. This one was toward the bottom. So you can see that how much that rust helps that to dye. Yeah, that one turned out pretty. Is that it? Let me see what else I have. I feel like there's something under here. Yeah, one more piece of multimedia paper. I barely tore anything this time. The first time I did this, my poor paper was like ripped to shreds. So that's pretty. I had so many colors in my flowers that I did expect more color, but I really think the reason there's not is because these early spring flowers, that one, the tulips are really showing up on that one. That one, I'm going to put that one in the oven too, just so we can see how it looks dry. Let's see. We'll dry a couple of them in the oven. I think it's because that these did not take on more color, even though the flowers were really colorful, because they're like early spring. And you can see as they're starting to dry, they are starting to get a little more colorful. So that happens. I don't know why when they're wet, they just don't look as colorful as they're going to turn out at the end. But I do think that it's the early springness of the flowers, and they just don't have as much pigment as, say, summer or fall flowers will have. That's my theory, and right now I'm sticking to it. We'll see what happens when I have summer flowers to work with. I know that I've done red roses that I bought just at Aldi's for like $3.99 for 6 of them. And they were so pigmented. They dyed everything. Even the paper turned out pink. I mean, they were gorgeous. So definitely it depends on how much pigment is in the paper itself. Okay, let me see if these are dry enough. Whoa, can't open my oven all the way. Oh, this one is. So here's one that dried. This one is dry. So you can see what it looks like. And then if you were going to put it in a journal, you know, it would be folded, or you could, you know, I don't know, there's all kinds of things. I have a whole collection of it in a box, and I just add, sometimes I use it to collage. Sometimes I use it to make like pockets or something in my, or tip outs or fold outs in my journals. And sometimes I do just make it like a page in my junk journal. So it would be like just a folded page in my junk journal, depending on what's happening and how much, you know, what I want to do with it. I'm gonna wait just another minute for that other one. So maybe here you can see the pink better against the, against this kind of white or yellow. You see how this is avocado dyed paper. It turned out pink this time. That's good, but you can see where I splotched some cranberry on there. It definitely turned gray. So avocado mixed with acid, which sounds like guacamole to me, is gray. Who knew? There's that. Oh, and here are my, these are not quite dry yet, but they're starting to dry. So you can see that these are my coffee filters. I really like to make like little, you can make pockets, or even I've put them inside my junk journals. I love them because they're so delicate looking. They take dye so well, but they're much sturdier than they seem, which is fun. Let me see if this one is dry. Oh, it's dry-ish. Not quite all the way, but you can see as it's drying that the colors, like the flowers, are outlining more. So this one, like the tulips are really showing up. That's really cool. And definitely the strawberries. So my friends, that is all. Thank you for hanging out with me. This took an hour and a half. So I did all of this paper in an hour and a half. I want to look at these comments to see if I can answer any questions. And I can't see them. Let me see. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. How fun. You mostly just saying they're pretty. Only Jessica can get pretty flowers. You know, you can go to the store and buy them. We have pink and purple. Lilacs in June. You'll have to try it. Terry, you should totally try it and then let me know. Lilacs would be so pretty. Oh, and I get, I'm really excited now because of the strawberries, because in our yard, we have wild strawberries every summer, and they are very small and seedy, and they're not very good to eat, but they're little, like little, and they're going to be perfect for this. I'm very excited by that. Let's see. I wonder if slices of dragon fruit, maybe the pink from it seems like it would be really, like very pigmented. Yes. If you guys do this, you have to. Hi, who's that Facebook user that said, yo, Shanta? I don't know why, but I feel like that's my brother. but maybe not. Some of them look like Rorschach test, definitely. I cannot read this. Thank you for sharing all the cool info. This was so fun. Yay. You guys are so welcome. Thank you for being here. I am just learning how to use YouTube, so I appreciate your patience. And I'm also just learning how to do eco dyeing, so I'm definitely not an expert, but I get better at it every time I try it. So it's one of those things that you just want to practice, right? You just want to practice. I'm going to check really quick on our, let's check on our eco printed paper, and then I'll end the call, the stream. Let's see how these turned out. They're not dry, of course, but they've at least had time to dry a little. I gotta make some space. I don't want to put any of this dyed paper on top of can you see that? Okay, so as you can see, the cranberry and cranberry mixed with avocado dye was a flop, flippity flop. It did not do pink and red. It did gray with a tiny tinge of pink. So we have a lot of gray, but it's kind of cool. Like the pink showed up in the seams and stuff. That one picked up some nice, I don't know if that's might not stick. I'm gonna put those in between again, just to let these dry with them there. So yeah, we got gray on a lot of these, which makes me kind of sad because I think that the cranberry in particular was going to make a really brilliant pink, and it did not happen. Breaks my heart. Oh, this one turned out kind of cool. Can you see that? It's got the real nice lace on that one. And I'm going to get some of this liquid off there. And this one. So this one's a little pinker. So that's cool. That one retained some of its pinkness. Let's see, what can we put in between these? This one. Okay. So what I'll do is leave this stack to dry for a couple of hours, and then before I go to bed, I will spread all of these out. Ugh. I will spread all of these out so that they will dry overnight. In a couple of hours, they're going to have picked up as much, like taken on as much dye as they're going to take on. And I can spread them out, and I don't have to worry about them like wiping away the dye or anything. So yeah, these are kind of grungy. I'm gonna have to make like a grunge journal, you guys. A 90s aesthetic journal for my daughter, who is a Zoomer and has a 90s aesthetic. You think she'd appreciate that? She might. Oh yeah, gross. This is kind of icky, but okay. So this one turned out nice and pink. That's cool. Do not get acid on your avocado. Do not do it. Because if you do, you will get this. Results. I'm gonna put that there. What do we have here? Oh, this one turned out kind of cool. You see that? That one turned out kind of cool. Oh, and look, it picked up the pattern of the paper towel really well. So that one turned out cool. Oh, now we're getting down to some that are pinker. That's nice. That one also, I'm going to put that on there. This one also turned out very pink, especially around the edges. I don't know if that's showing as pink as I would like it to. These, however, turned out straight up gray. I'm hoping kind of that they dry a little more purple and not quite so like straight up gray, like dark gray, grungy gray. But it is what it is. I got myself a nice piece of very like concrete gray watercolor paper. Dang it. I wonder if I could go back in like when I have some blueberries or something and dye that again, or use it with eco dye, because I don't know about that concrete gray. See, this one's looking a little purple, so I'm hoping that some purple will come out. This poor library card is like charcoal gray. What? All right. So my eco printing turned out really cool. I almost had a really cool experience with eco dyeing. And some of them did turn out really cool. And then I've got some gray, which, you know, I'll think of something to do with. Those turned out really cool. Oh, here we have a nice piece of very, very gray. I want to put that right directly down on there. A very, very, very gray cardstock. Oh, here's pink though. Yay for pink. This is what I wanted. This is avocado, so that's cool. Oh, and this one turned out really neat. That one turned out really cool. That's watercolor paper. Here's some sketchbook paper. Oh, and here's some cardstock, or little cards, index cards that turned out very pink. This is what I want from avocado dye paper. And I have one piece of multimedia paper that's nice and pink. So that's what we came up with today, guys. Thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you would like to make sure that you don't miss anything. Grunge Gray is excellent for writing letters to bill collectors and the IRS. Cool. Terry says, oh, it's odd because it's avocado and it's the acid that keeps it from turning gray, isn't it? You would think, right? I mean, I don't know how pink comes out of a green avocado in the first place, but we'll see how it looks when it's dry. Maybe I'll take some pictures tomorrow and do like a post, or Terry, you'll be at the right in tomorrow at, you know, the live sprint tomorrow. So I'll show you how this turns out in the morning. Poor Jessica will not, but if you watch the replay, it is I don't even know what time 10 a.m. Eastern is in Hawaii, but I think it's not morning time there. I think it's still night. Any questions or anything? Since it's live, you guys can ask questions. I don't know if I missed any. If I didn't answer your question, I'll go through the chat when I'm done here. But if you want to ask again, Jessica's at 4 a.m. Yeah, don't write at 4 a.m. Jessica, unless you're like dying to watch the replay. I'll show some of these in the replay for you guys. Not the replay, in the live sprint tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. For those of you who don't know, 10 a.m. we write for 10 minutes live. But I will maybe start 5 minutes early so I can show you guys the papers. Just about the vinyl mats. Oh, so I bought the vinyl mats on Amazon. I'll link to them in the description when I'm done here. They're just vinyl. It has to have holes in it so that it will, the holes like the dye is darker where there's holes. I don't know why. I'm not sure of the mechanics of that, but that's the way that works. I can't see my camera. Let me see. I gotta turn this a little bit this way. What were the measurements of the ingredients? So in the water, I just filled it up with enough water to fill the pan, maybe 3/4 of the way full. And I used about a 1/4 cup of alum that I bought on Amazon in bulk. So I bought like a pound jar. I think I have it right here. Yeah. So I used this alum. It's a 1 pound jar. It was like $10, but I've been using it, and like I think I've dyed 5 or 6 times, and I still have more than half left. So I put about a 1/4 cup of that in there. And then I put about a cup of vinegar and about 1/2 cup of regular table salt. And if you have anything that has some rust, you could put that in as well. I've seen people like actually tie their bundles up with rusty wire. That looks like tetanus waiting to happen to me. So I do not do that because I don't want to have to go get a shot. So, well, I've already had a tetanus shot, but I'd rather not get tetanus or test my shots viability. So I don't do that. Every time I see it on YouTube, it looks very, very dangerous. Make sure your kitchen, if you do it inside, make sure your kitchen is very well ventilated, because especially if you're doing, it's not so important if you're only using food, but if you're doing flowers, you know, I don't know, some of them maybe even have some toxicity or give you allergies. So I have cross ventilation in my kitchen. A lot of people do it outdoors. I don't have a way to heat the water outdoors except like a charcoal grill. I do it in my kitchen, and I have not had any problems so far. But just know that some people really recommend doing it outdoors, especially if you think there's a chance that you're using something toxic. Also make very sure that you don't use pots or pans or anything for the eco printing that is going to be used again for food. I just went to a thrift store and found like a big spaghetti pot and a roasting pan and a cookie sheet and a cookie like cooling rack. And I don't use them, for food anymore, or at all. I never have. I got them at a thrift store, and I got a big old pan that had some, it's like painted. I don't know. It's like a cheap thing, one you might cook a Thanksgiving turkey in, and their paint was peeling off the bottom. And so I encouraged that. I got as much paint off as I could, and then I just left water in it. And after a couple of times, it's really been rusted. So that helps the dye set, the pigments set. What were the measurements? Okay, so any more questions? This was a lot of fun, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.